Hello everyone, my name is Manali and I'm a behavior analyst and Parent Academy moderator here at BPI. And I'm coming to you today for your sneak peek into our topic of the week from the Parent Academy's Facebook group. The topic of the week is self-harming behaviors or self-injurious behaviors, SIB. This is when an individual engages in behaviors that may result in harm to oneself, like scratching, peeling, picking, cutting or burning skin, head hitting or head banging, pulling hair, slapping face or stomach or leg, or biting self. Of course, there are very challenging behaviors and often difficult to talk about for families, as well as tough to intervene on for teachers and clinicians. If your loved one or a student is exhibiting these behaviors, I would recommend reaching out to a professional. I myself may even refer to a specialist or a clinic that has an expertise on SIB or is better suited to handle very challenging self-injurious behaviors. The following method I'll talk about today may have been effective or even non-effective for the individuals I have worked with in the past, but that does not guarantee it will work with all individuals, not at all, because ABA-based treatment plans are very personalized. So please always seek out other options and don't start searching for more help. As a clinician, when approaching SIB, not ABA, SIB, I first determine if there is a typical function or even multiple functions, or a why is this happening. If you've been following my videos the past month, you know I've been talking about functions. I'll look to assess if it's automatic, something going on internally, or anxiety induced. Is it used to communicate pain or trying to seek or stop a sensory input? Again, automatic. I'll look to see if they're trying to escape a task, if it's happening anytime an expectation is in place that may be difficult for them, and the expectation is no longer expected because of the behaviors. Or does it happen when they are left alone or when others are talking to one another? And does everyone jump in when it happens? Or does engaging in the SIB get them access to a toy they were trying to get a hold of that they just couldn't on their own? It may be one of these, it may be more than one, or not be any of these functions. And the SIB could be a symptom of a more serious underlying issue. As a possibility, an individual's behavior may escalate to SIB if less intense challenging behaviors, like simple crying, did not contact its function, meaning if the crying wasn't reinforced by attention or access to an item, if that's what they wanted. Throughout the month, I also talked about an ABC chart, and this is what I would use to decide what the function of the behavior might be. So click on the videos tab on this page to find my video on ABC data collection for that. Once I have a good idea on what the functions could be, I'll then determine which alternative behaviors to teach. For example, a replacement behavior could be teaching how to use an AAC device, visuals like these, for example. I'm hot and I'm cold. It could be sign language, it could be spoken language, all of that can be used to communicate what they want and how they feel instead of using SIB. This could be asking for mom for her attention by tapping her shoulder or tapping her leg, or asking for a break using a visual, or saying help. If needed, we'll also introduce incompatible behavior. So what does this mean? So if an individual is using their hands to hit their head, I might teach them to squeeze a stress ball or play with their favorite toy instead and have those readily available nearby so their hands stay busy and can't be used to hit themselves. This isn't effective if I'm not meeting the function, of course. Another example is a kiddo who bites their arm or hand. I will teach them to bite a chewy necklace instead. Of course, a chew will not be effective if the behavior of biting is done to feel the pressure on their skin or to get attention from dad so he can help soothe some pain they're having inside, which is multiple functions. I may also teach coping and calming strategies like counting to 10, singing the ABCs, listening to music, writing in a journal, deep breaths, or squeezes. For example, especially for anxiety-induced behaviors such as scratching skin or pulling hair that I've seen. All of these interventions are with the intention to prevent the SIB from even happening, but that is not always possible, of course. When behaviors are very intense, we may look into a block of some sort to reduce the further harm from the behavior that may happen, like a hand glove or a arm guard or a hat or a bandage to prevent harm from scratching or peeling skin or biting self. We may look into a helmet or thick gloves for head hitting to reduce the intensity felt from head hitting, or a pillow to block the wall if head banging against it, like this. We may have to hold or pick up a child in our hands to prevent them from trying to climb or go through a safety gate or cover the openings or get a higher gate. These are just some examples. We may place our own arms in between a child's hand and their face if they're hitting their face, so there is no harm to the child. And wait until they are calm before jumping back in with some guidance or learning the skill or finishing the task, like hand washing, for example, which is an important skill to learn. If sometimes an individual is engaged in head hitting during hand washing after using the bathroom and we stopped working on it because of SIB, this could result in catching another illness and further escalate to feeling unwell, further increasing self-harm to communicate how they feel inside. Instead, I want to determine why this skill is so hard of hand washing and find ways to make it easier to learn. Why is your SIB only during this task? And of course, make the task more fun, more reinforcing. Make it more fun with music that they like, maybe access to praise and all the things they love during and after the task. On the Parent Academy page, parents Andi and Denise talk more about how they approach these behaviors with their sons and when and why it happens. They also talk about how their perception of self-harming behaviors may actually vary across people, meaning one person may feel a behavior is self-harming while the other does not, whether it be between spouses or school staff and a parent. One example is a parent who considers biting self only harmful if it leaves a mark or breaks the skin, but otherwise it's just a way to get sensory input or some other function. Another piece to consider is the levels of pain felt across people. That does vary. Whereas something may be considered self-harming to one person, the person doing it may not consider harming themselves. On the PA page, I'll be going over more specific examples and detailed situations I have encountered in my last 9 years in the field and how I have approached them, looking at times they occur, the environment, how it affects the behavior, and trial and error of some of the different approaches. In addition, Joy will be talking about how to approach this mindfully because it does take a toll on parents and teachers. It is hard to see SIB happen and not jump in right away to fix it. But in turn, we may just be incidentally reinforcing or increasing the behavior by meeting its function, the why behind its occurrence. Again, it's a gray line and it's really hard to talk about. If you want to talk about it, please don't hesitate to in the comments below if you are experiencing any SIB with your child or student, and also please leave that in the comments, and also share interventions you may be using that are or are not effective. In a short while, we will be releasing our next module, Teaching Replacement Behaviors. But first, watch our first module, Behavior Basics, to catch up. As mentioned earlier, Parent Academy provides a private Facebook support group where we talk about all these different topics. This is open to subscribers who are enrolled in our webinar series, as well as families who receive services from BPI. So if you're interested in enrolling in the modules and then joining our group, reach out to parents@bpiaba.com. I'll leave that in the comments for you. All right, everyone, if you have any questions, any concerns, if you want to share, leave that in the comments. Check out our LinkedIn page, Pinterest, of course, our website. I think I got all of them, our Twitter, and I'll see you next week. All right, bye-bye. Before I say bye, I'm seeing a comment here. We're having serious trouble with SIB behaviors. Please do leave more details and we'll make sure to help you how we can from a general perspective. And definitely watch the whole video. I'm hoping the whole video can help you first, and then definitely leave your questions. All right, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.